I think 50-50 is, I don't think it's working. I don't think that men are going to get what they want in life. I don't think women are going to get what they want in life as long as this 50-50 thing is going on. The dynamic has to be where it's going to allow both parties to thrive in their energy, and 50-50 just doesn't work. What should be a deal breaker for a relationship?
Why is this so hard?
It's hard. It's a hard question.
All right, will you go first? Do you have an idea, or you want me to?
Okay, so I think a deal breaker is going to totally opposite of your values. Somebody that doesn't respect you. If someone is just, I'll say someone that is, because saying they're toxic is just kind of broad, but someone that is just like opposed to your values, you're not getting any type of respect, there's no type of cooperation. And one of the most important things I find is comprehension, because people say that communication is the biggest thing, but it's really comprehension. If you can communicate to a woman or to a man as many times as you want, but if they don't comprehend what you're saying, or if they don't have the ability to comprehend, you're not going to get really far. And so I've had that situation. I actually literally had to walk away from the relationship. It was a deal breaker because there's no way that we could talk about things with her getting it. So I feel, so I mean, I think that would be a deal breaker in my book.
Yeah, comprehension is big. I think especially if you're somebody that talks about ideas, or you like nuance, or you like, things to be, you and I are talking about things that aren't left and right. They're not really black and white in the way that most people understand them. And so we get people who comment on our videos and they think like, oh, you're saying this, and we're like, no,
that's not what I'm saying at all.
I understand why you think so, but there's a very low ability to comprehend the nuance of what we're saying. They're not really listening. They're listening for keywords to try to put us in a camp and then dismiss us.
Right.
And that's a really low way to comprehend when anybody's speaking with any nuance or with any kind of subtlety. I had a relationship too where I wasn't really sure, because she told me early on, she's like, I had a head injury. Like I was she got in a car accident, which was not funny, but that had been years ago. She rode a bull on a work trip in Nashville and re-injured her head.
Oh,
she was out of it. She fell off the bull. And after that, we started dating after that. We started talking after that. And I was like, okay, well, let's work with it. But it was really consistently a problem because she would forget the points that I made, as soon as I made them. And I was like, this is really difficult.
It's frustrating.
That did end up being a deal breaker. I would say that my deal breaker is someone who can't or has a really difficult time taking responsibility for their own emotions. A woman's connection to her emotions is really important in her life. I want her to be connected to her emotions, but there are kind of two ways to handle emotions. And one is that you blame and you externalize. You're like, these are someone else. Someone else caused me to feel this way. I'm victimized by XYZ. Victimized just meaning I'm at the effect of something else.
Right.
Something else is hurting me. Something else is doing something to me. And what that does is it takes yourself out of agency. You are no longer sovereign over your own body and your own system. You actually have the ability to choose what emotions you have in a moment, or at least understand that you should choose, understand that you should take responsibility for it. Even if it's hard, even if you blame somebody for a second, eventually you want it to come back, and so that you can be responsible for what is arising in your system. So a woman who can't do that, or finds it that it's too hard, or you can't do it fast enough, that's a deal breaker for me.
I had an ex that was the same way. She just couldn't take accountability, and accountability is huge, you know, because if someone is not going to take accountability, they're going to blame, they're going to, you know, push the responsibility on someone else, most likely you. and you know, it's just not fun. I don't think that anyone can thrive in that type of relationship. So I definitely agree that's a deal breaker.
Does the masculine man really need a woman? Well, it depends on what you mean by need.
Right.
Can I feed myself? Yes. I mean, I don't know if you've seen men in their 50s and 60s who are single, but they essentially live in a shed. They got like a folding chair, a TV from 1983, 16 coffee mugs, an ashtray, and a vinyl collection that exists solely of albums from the year 1967 to 1973. This is what life is like. Oh, and a fridge full of condiments and a cupboard full of tuna.
You know, that's in this situation, like you said, it could be subjective. Like, does a man need a woman? A masculine man need a woman? It could say yes, you could say no, but you will see the difference between a man that has a woman and a man that doesn't have a woman, a good woman. You like you said, see a man in his 40s or 50s with a great woman, and you know, his house will definitely be a home. I'll say that if you're with a good woman. But I wouldn't say a man needs a woman. I feel like there's a specific time when a man does need a woman. So I'll say this. Because there's a lot of these things that I keep seeing rise up on the internet, and men are saying, while a man is really trying to strive to get himself in a certain place, that he should not be with women, he should not date, he should not, you know, go out and do all these other things. He needs to be kind of laser focused. And in that sense, I can agree, a man does not need a woman in that time. If you're really trying to build yourself and you're really just trying to get to where you're trying to go for a certain period of time, unless you have a woman that can not pull you away from that, or you have enough discipline to not be pulled away from the woman that you're dealing with, that's when a man should just kind of be on his focus, on his grind, and towards his whatever goal. Maybe it's a short-term goal, but a lot of men, I feel, fall into the trap of, I don't need a woman. I can cook, I can clean, I can do all these things for myself. I can provide for myself. What is a woman bringing to me? What is a woman bringing to me? What is she gonna bring to this table? A lot of times, a lot of men actually end up focusing on their dreams and goals and ambitions, and they go without any women. They don't. But a lot of times, the men will become hermits, and they don't go out at all, and don't talk to women, or don't date women. And when this happens, you're actually, you might have gotten to your goal, but you might not be as happy because you actually don't have any outside interactions. Because one thing I found is, you know, on my personal growth journey, you definitely want to be focused, but you don't want to be to the point to where you're pushing women away totally. Because one, you'll get rushed if you don't talk to a woman for a long time. You'll forget the charisma. You'll forget how to kind of seduce a woman. Those things are still there, but you kind of forget if you just totally remove yourself from it. So in one sense, I'll say yes, a man does need a woman in the fact of what a good woman, a good feminine woman can provide a masculine man. These things aren't monetary. These things are more spiritual, like you were saying earlier. And like I was saying earlier, a man can go a really long way if he has the right woman by his side while you're doing these things, while you're trying to get to where you're trying to go. But a man that has no discipline, he might be a masculine man, but if he has no discipline, if he is not anywhere near where he's trying to go, and you're trying to like still talk over here, you're trying to date 4 or 5 different women, your money's not right, your personal growth is not right, all these different things aren't in order, or at least kind of in the direction of trying to get in order, you need to just focus. Like if that's the type of guy that you are, you don't know how to discipline yourself, grow that discipline before you're trying to be with a woman, or bring 2 or 3 women, whoever, because some guys are trying to talk to 2 and 3 different women at a time, and it's like you're not even close to where you're trying to go. Leave the women alone for now. They're going to be here. But if you're a guy that has kind of establish himself a little bit, kind of know, you at least know where you're going, and you are kind of at least stabilized and you're moving in that direction, I think I think you can need a woman. I think she can help you get there even faster if you got the right one.
There's this concept called, and it's mostly happens in the kind of like queer circles, couple privilege. Have you heard that?
I never heard of that.
Okay, couple privilege is when single people go out and they notice that their couple friends are richer and they get treated better.
Wow.
And their life is more together. And it's anytime you add privilege to something, it's a little bit like it has me look a little deeper. I'm like, okay, is this just because this is normalized, or is there something deeper here? And I think couple privilege is pointing at something deeper, and it's pointing at something spiritual, like we've been talking about, which is a man creates a vision for how he wants to live, and a woman is enrolled in that vision. He enrolls her in that vision. Wouldn't it be nice if we did X with our life? Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in this certain place? She starts to see it. She starts to sense it. She starts to roll it around in her emotional awareness. And as a result, she starts to manifest it for both of them.
Ooh.
And that's maybe a deeper cut, a deeper explanation, or a different parallel explanation of what couple privilege is. Is that there are two energies, and that she really does pull in the experience from magic. Like, women are magic.
They are.
Women are magic.
They are.
Good women are. And so to say that if a man is on his grind, he needs to focus on his grind and not entertain a woman. Well, I see that. I agree to some extent. And yet, he's also potentially leaving the magic of a good woman on the table, which could accelerate his vision 100 times faster and 100 times farther and deeper.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, really, that's the truth of it. If a man has a vision and he has a good woman by his side, you can do anything, especially if your woman is spiritually in tune and intuitive and all that stuff. That's all a plus, So I mean, yeah, in that type of sense, I would say a man definitely does need a woman in that sense.
As we talk, and I started this journey on TikTok and like really focusing on serving men and encouraging masculinity about a month and a half ago. I really said, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this for the next year. I'm focusing on this and beyond. I know if I go all in on this, that it's going to make some kind of difference.
Yes.
And this may be what I'm here to do, or part of what I'm here to encourage, is the spiritual wholeness of what a woman provides in just the manifestability. She can bring her magic, and maybe that's part of what we're here to say. This exists.
Yes,
it is possible. You don't see it a lot, but we're gonna start pointing the way toward what a spiritual, wholesome, manifesting, healthy unit looks like.
Yes, and and along the way, some people are going to get upset because some people don't really understand what that is. But a lot of people have been brainwashed for years of thinking what a relationship should be like. This is what it should be like, and this concept might be foreign to a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to get their toes stepped on. And yeah, I've seen in some of the videos that you posted from some of the content that we did last week or the week before, and some people will get upset. They get upset, but what?
I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
When I get a notification for a comment, I get just as excited if I expect it's going to be a hate comment as if it's going to be an encouraging comment. Because I just know, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm here. I know what I have to say. I know that when people hate it, it's not understood correctly.
Yes.
And so, and I also know that hate comments can stir some drama and bring some eyeballs, and that's good for me.
Yes.
So people are haters, like, bring them on, dude.
Bring them.
I'm attuned.
I look at the haters now as a huge opportunity, because I used to be like, wow, why are they so negative? And why are they? But now, after especially after seeing that one video we did, I think I posted it, got like 136 comments or something like that, and it just went crazy. And I was like, wow, this is all from just a couple of conversations between people that just had opposing views, but really made the video pop. And it really shows that there's a need that people need to see. And I really do feel that that's why, or at least a part of why we're here. And I mean, the fact that we connected on there on TikTok, and now, we're able to just create content and share more of these concepts with the world. I think it's a great thing. And, people need to know, people need to hear about it. People aren't going to always agree. But for me, what I've learned is just planting the seed, just planting the seed. They might not agree with it right away, or they might not agree with it ever. But if you plant the seed and if it does grow and someone does get it eventually down the road, because that's how a lot of concepts happen for me. There were years where I was like, I wouldn't even agree with this type of concept, or this type of concept would have been totally just cold with it. But then here I am years later, and I'm like, wow, here comes full circle, So I feel like we're doing great work. I appreciate everything that you're doing on TikTok. I think it's great. Men and women both need to, see this type of stuff. So yeah, man.
I got it for you.
Did it.
This is for women. Well, it's about women. When is it okay to judge your man?
Ooh. Okay. Here's my. This came to me right away. I feel like it's only okay for a woman to judge a man if he's not doing what he's supposed to do. If he is totally in the wrong, he's messing up with his leadership. He's messing up with his listening. He's not hearing you. He's not listening. He's not showing up for you. He's not protecting. He's not, or he used to be doing these things, and now he's not doing these things anymore. I feel that that's when a woman can step in and be like, hey, in the most loving way that she can, because obviously a woman that's gonna just come at a guy like, you don't do this and you don't do that, and you used to do this. If you come at a man like that, he's gonna get defensive, and he's just like, you can't tell me what to do, like what? But I feel like a woman can, especially if she is your woman, she comes in and says, hey, I did notice that you kind of slacked with this type of thing, or you haven't been as attentive to me. Is there something going on? What's going on? I think it's showing a judgment. It's showing that he's not doing what he's supposed to do, but it's doing it in a way that it's not going to come off as she's telling him what to do. It's negative. It's just an attack. It shouldn't come off as an attack. It should come off as a positive, loving judgment, in the sense of, I know that you're not being the man that you need to be. I know that you're not being the man that you're capable of being. What's going on? Is there something? A lot of times it might be something that's going on that he's not talking to her about. He's dealing with something. It could be a lot of things, but that could be the indicator to him, like, oh, I have kind of fallen off. I am not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to make sure I'm back on that. So in that sense, I feel like a woman judging, I think that would be an appropriate way. Anything other than that, I don't feel that it should happen.
I got 3 times when it's okay to judge your man.
Let's hear it.
Number 1, if he leads you to do it. If he tells you to judge him, then judge him. Like, his leadership is what you want to be following. Otherwise, number 2, if you want to see how he reacts to masculine behavior, judge him. Right? Mm-hmm. If you want to watch how a man reacts to being masculine, is he going to step up to you? Is he going to back down? Like, if you are just curious and you want to fuck with things a little bit,
right,
and you want to see how he reacts to you being masculine and judging him, then by all means, judge him. Number 3, if you want to introduce stress, irritation, and distance into the relationship without taking responsibility for it, then by all means, judge your man. By all means, judge your man. Now, like, how do you deliver feedback as a woman? Because it's not judgment. It's actually sharing the emotional information about what he's doing, how what he's doing makes you feel. So let's role play this a bit. If you used to step up, and I'm the woman, and I come to you, and instead of saying like, what's going on? You're not stepping up.
Right.
Okay, you're not, that's a judge. Share a feeling with you. And of course he's going to say yes, right? I mean, ideally, if he's a healthy man, he wants to know how you feel. This is, you say, I feel some worry, right? And you don't say why as a woman. You don't have to go in, because the why starts to lead into blame. Let him draw it out of you. Let him pull it from you. Let him lead it from you. And so you say, well, why do you feel worried? I said, well, I feel worried because I'm looking at our money, and I look at how you used to have so much hustle, and I'm feeling worried about where we're going next. And that is so much softer.
Yes.
It's so much more yeah, which, you know, I'm always doing this. Yin yang, more symbiosis. When a woman shares how she feels, instead of judging him, because what's his response going to be to judgment? It's going to be irritation. It's going to be distance. What did I say? Stress, irritation, and distance into the relationship.
Yeah, he's going to get very defensive too.
Yeah, and then you can, of course, judge him for being defensive and not take responsibility for that. You know, people will do that. Women will do that. Or you could avoid the whole thing altogether and just share how you feel, and trust your man to pull the information from you that he needs to course correct.
You know, and that I want to say there was an exercise, and it was talking about that instead of for when you're trying to communicate what's wrong or how you're feeling. It's not about pointing fingers saying you did this, you did this. It should never start with you. It should be, I feel this way. You know, I feel, like you said, I feel worried or I feel sad when you're not when you're not attending to me, or I feel sad when we don't talk enough, or I feel distant when I don't feel that you're giving attention to me, or you're not listening to me when I'm talking.
Now, I want to reflect back that even the stuff you said contains blame.
Oh, because it's you. It's still saying you.
Right. You are assigning a cause to your bad feelings.
Right.
And it's okay, people assign causes to bad feelings all the time, but
right.
It's going to introduce alienation and distance. So as a woman, if you just share the feeling,
right, and
don't say the cause of it, you're essentially prompting him to lead it from you. You're
right.
prompting him to draw it out of you with his leadership, it's so much better as a man when you can lead and pull information instead of being told.
Right. I totally agree with that, and I've seen a couple of times in relationships. So I've seen women actually do the blame, but I've actually seen women that were able to be very feminine, very intuitive to their emotions, and say, "Oh, I feel this way. I'm feeling worried. Like I'm feeling like this. I'm noticing that this is happening. I'm feeling." Like you said, I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling anxious. But it opens the door for the man to actually just be able to fix things. Oh, okay, so you're feeling like this because the money is running low, and we're not having a lot of money come in this month. I understand. I'll just work some extra shifts this week. I'm gonna work some extra shifts this month, and then we don't have to worry about that. I don't want you to have to worry about that. And next thing you know, she's all, because she talks to you and you're listening, and there's no blame and there's no judgment. And she's able to just relax and go back into that, and she's not worried anymore because you're going to take care of that. And I feel that that's how the communication really should be when it comes to these relationships. Because when the blame and all that stuff happens, it's back and forth. It's arguing. Arguing is going back and forth. No one's hearing anyone, and you're like, I feel like the woman is just going to get more and more stressed out. The guy is going to get more and more annoyed at the fact, and then it's just no one wins. No one wins, and then the polarization just gets messed up in that situation.
A man has to trust himself. He's got to have confidence that he can problem solve and then execute on the problem solving, because she's going to pick up on that, and it's actually what she needs to do.
Right.
Deep in the relationship, her work is to trust him, just like his work is to trust God and himself. I don't know. That might be too esoteric for people, but it's hard to trust. Women haven't. It's not in the cultural conversation right now for women to work on trusting men. It's just in the cultural conversation for women to diminish, demean, and distance themselves.
Right.
And what's available when a woman trusts a man is healing for her and healing for him.
Absolutely. So this one was, when should sex be brought up while newly dating?
God, I don't know, man. Your questions are you're where people are at, you know, like you're asking the stuff that people care about, and I'm over here in like esoteric and my weird Kabbalion books and whatever the hell I'm up to. But it's fair enough. When should a couple talk about whether they should be sexually intimate?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to go back to this idea that I think that it's difficult and healthy to introduce sexual intimacy once there is devotion in place. I think that it is good to have devotion in place once you have a good idea that whoever you're dating is going to enhance your life and not diminish it.
Right.
And that, I think, is probably the whole bowl of wax for me. I don't necessarily care about the state being involved in a legal marriage. I am interested though in having sexual intimacy once there is devotion in place, and I think you have devotion in place once you have enough of a suspicion that this person's going to enhance your life.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I don't feel like there's a right or a wrong time. I just don't think it should happen right in the beginning, like first date and stuff like that. Like I said, unless that's just what you're wanting to do. If you're just wanting to hook up, then cool. But if you're looking for someone, long term, I think it should just be a natural thing. Like you said, when the devotion, when the connection is there, when you've seen that this is going to be a woman that I want to be around. This is a woman that I could see a future with. Honestly, what I've noticed is the sex kind of just happens naturally anyway. I do feel that men should make sure though that they are putting out their intent for wanting to be sexual. I know a lot of really nice guys sometimes will get in the fact of talking about or dating someone and there's never touch, they never show that they are sexually interested in the woman, and so there's no polarity, there's no sexual chemistry starting from the jump. And so I feel that if there's a guy that's being too nice and he's and he's not showing not touching, not showing any type of physical interaction with the woman, then she might not ever be sexually interested in him. So in that sense, I do think that men should make sure that it's known that I'm not just trying to be your friend. It should come off in that type of sense. But I don't feel like there's a right or wrong way that when it's me and really dating, I think it's kind of just going to happen naturally. But I think the issue with a lot of guys is they do bring up sex too early. Some guys lead with sex on the first, second date, and that, if that's what you want to do, if you're just trying to hook up, like I said, by all means. But if you want a real connection, you want something that's going to last, I do feel that you should let that connection happen, like you said, let that devotion kind of come into place, and then I feel like it's going to actually just be a natural thing.
You bring up something that it's a bit of a rabbit hole. I can't believe how conservative I'm leaning on this about sex, especially because I'm like the worst example of it. Like my ideals and my behavior are not congruent. I don't do what I say I should do. So whatever, I mean, like, do with that whatever you will. I have an ideal for myself that I'm really into this idea of a long-term committed spiritual relationship where there is this co-manifestation of a reality together. And I haven't always been there. I've been very distracted and interested and enchanted by sex with a lot of different women. And that gets you something for a while. It's validating. It teaches you how to pay attention and to be present. You can learn to actually be a better lover, better at sex. And then it starts diminishing. The payoffs for the behavior start to become less and less until you have to ask yourself a question. Is this worth it anymore? Is this contributing to my growth? Or is it contributing to pain? Or is it just wasting my time? Or am I actually trapped in it?
Right.
Am I myself? And I've been in all of those places. And just at this point, like, I really want to do something different. I'm ready for, I say that I'm ready for it, but you know, I know that it's not going to be easy, you know, to maintain a strong masculine frame and leadership inside a relationship where we're going to face all kinds of stuff together. So I'm delusional right now in that particular direction.
Hey, I mean, I think, you know, as long as you know kind of what you want with that, I mean, I think that's a great thing. Looking for a woman that you can have a long-term relationship with, that can, you know, you guys have this spiritual connect, because it's different when you're connected spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's a whole different ballgame meeting a woman like that, and to be able to be with a woman like that for as long as possible, I think that's only going to benefit. I think it's only going to benefit both of you, really. And I mean, that's something that I look for as well. You know, I'm over the, you know, one night stands and just meaningless sex and stuff like that. I'm looking for a woman that, you know, can develop with me spiritually, wants to go somewhere. We can work together, really come together in that symbiosis. And, you know, I'm able to be in my masculine energy, she's able to be in her feminine energy. You know, cohabit and work together to get to the things that we want out of life, and, you know, have each other's backs, that type of thing. Really being able to thrive in masculine energy. I think that, you know, a lot of people never get to experience that, because a lot of people are so focused on staying where they are because they're comfortable, or, you know, they're scared to actually leave who they're with and be alone for a while until they find that. And so I think that it's, you know, I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to be on your own until, you know, because you know that that's the type of relationship you want. You're not going to settle for anything less than that. So, I mean, I think that we're both well on our way for that, you know.
Cheers, man. I love it.
Yeah, so what I want to say to the men is, and women too, but mainly for the men, take everything that you've gotten out of this episode, listen to what we're saying. These concepts, it might be weird, it might be different, it might not be something you're accustomed to, but we come out of love, we come out of, you know, respect for the world, and we really want to make the world a better place. And one of the ways that we were going to make the world a better place is really having people understand how relationships should be, how a feminine man or feminine woman should be, how a masculine man should be. And we're just really giving this concept of an ideal relationship. And, you know, there are a lot of good things, you know, green flags that we should look out for. There's a lot of red flags we should look out for. But at the end of the day, it's all about self-development, becoming the best self that you can be for that person that you're trying to attract into your life, for all the goals that you're wanting to aspire to get to. Become that best self for all these different things, not just for these little things that you want, but to, you know, continue to inspire the world and to continue to just become the man that can make the change, or become the woman that can make the change. It all starts within, so it's all going to be us starting to take accountability for our actions, take accountability for where we are in our life, and move forward and move out of love, move out of devotion, move out of leadership, and just try to inspire others to do the best that they can and become their best selves as well, because we all deserve it. We all have the ability and the power to create the lives that we want.
Beautiful.
All right, man. I appreciate you being on this episode, Once again, great content. I got other questions for another time, so
We'll do it.
let's do it. When I come back from Florida, we set up a time to do it again sometime next week. We'll keep them going.
Father, man.